Alright, what's up guys? So, Hot T has uploaded a video titled all of the updates on the Trisha slash Shane slash Jeffree situation. For those that are not caught up, for those that don't know, I'm pretty sure she'll explain it, but I'll just give y'all a quicker summary. They all beefing. Well, Trisha is beefing with Shane and Jeffree because they were talking crap about her, so yeah. Pretty much to give y'all a quick summary of it. But anyways, let's go ahead and see the latest updates of this situation. I think Ray, she said in the last video that she had like a update on this. So yeah, if y'all haven't, make sure you guys go subscribe to her on her main channel. Go subscribe to her on her second channel, Ray Rahimi, and her business channel, Build Your Pocket. And then that being said, let's get into this video.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about all of the updates on the Trisha, Shane, and Jeffree situation. There has been so much happening during this last week. Sorry for not reporting earlier, but the situation is just so messy and has been changing with more and more stuff coming out daily. From Trisha discussing it on the Frenemies podcast, as well as exposing both Shane and Jeffree in a new video and completely trashing them all over TikTok and Twitter. Also, Jeffree kind of addressed the scandal. Ryland Adams, who's Shane's fiance, talked about it, and even ex-friends of Jeffree have come out to expose how Jeffree allegedly wanted to drop Shane. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications. It really helps out this channel, and give this video a thumbs up. Alright, let's get into it. Just to give you a quick recap on what we're talking about. About a year ago, Trisha Paytas went on a Vegas trip with Jeffree Star and his crew and friends. Apparently, she left early because Jeffree and his hair and makeup people were talking really mean and nasty things about her behind her back. Yeah, recently, Hair by Jay, who's Jeffree's hairstylist, went on an Instagram Live and talked about Trisha and the Vegas trip, and he went off on her with some really rude and mean comments. Trisha responded to that on her social media platforms. She was very upset and she came out to say how she no longer supports Jeffree Star. She confirmed that everything that was said was true and that she said that she was scared of Jeffree and his people. In another video, Trisha said that she was really disappointed in Shane and Ryland since they didn't believe her, and she felt hurt by them not showing any support towards her, and instead they chose to publicly support Jeffree by constantly talking about him and promoting him. It's quite messy. I would suggest
watching. I think that is like with that thing. I remember like Ray mentioning that early on, how people have like this fear towards Jeffree Star. And I'm like, look, I don't know what that man got going on with people, but I'm like, if the right thing is clearly there in front of you, like to overall do the right thing, do it. Like, it shouldn't matter, like, what it does to your credibility or your fame or your fortune or whatever. Like, I feel like my thing is like, I could lose everything tomorrow if I did the right thing. Me doing the right thing, I'm like, all right, well, obviously that stuff was built off of fraud and lies and everything else. So I'm like, I don't need that stuff. I'll rebuild if I need to. But yeah, it's like, me personally, I just think like, you know, if the right thing is there in front of you, do it. Don't wait, or don't be like, oh, I can't because it's going to ruin. Like, no, like, let it ruin. Because, like, if you're worried about it ruining something that you got going on, then obviously, yeah, what you got going on is built off of negativity, fraud, lies, and a bunch of other stuff. So, saying, just do the right thing. It's a better feeling afterwards. Like, you don't have to worry about looking over your shoulders left and right, doing the right thing. Like, I mean, if you have to, then you have to. But overall, like, like I'm willing to take that risk. But
my video on it for more details. And now that a week has passed, a lot more has come out of this drama. Let's get into it. So, a longtime ex-friend of Jeffree also had a few things to add to the whole situation. Oscar Wilde tweeted, "I love seeing Trisha evolving into such a self-aware, kind, just all-around better person. I try and see the best in just about everyone, and she's making it easy to see she's educating herself and attempting to better herself all around. Proud of you, friend. I could easily go the fuck off on awful things that have been said in my time with people I've never signed an NDA. I just want nothing to do with people that have proven to me that they're simply awful. I gave Jeffree tons of chances. If Shane wants to believe him, that's his choice. Yes, I've been too kind and kept my mouth shut for too long, but the only thing I will say publicly right now is that yes, I physically was asked by Jeffree, at what point do I cut ties with Shane? Like, this is more than 3 strikes. Literally the day after Tati filmed her video. I'm not trying to bring people into this, but I truly feel my kindness or empathy was taken advantage of. And I just feel bad for the fact that Trisha lost a friend for siding with someone I physically watched say what they said. Simple as that. I've attempted to make a video like 10 times. For whatever reason, I keep crying. I never lowered my guard like this, but I'm not gonna sit and let people's friendship over 10 plus years to go to shit because of lies. If that is the case, I'm more mad at myself for ever supporting them. Oscar also uploaded a video where he talked about the fact that he wanted to support Trisha because he couldn't stand the bullying coming from Jeffree and all of the people around him. Oscar also said that when Tati's video came out and Shane reacted to it, Jeffree wasn't sure what to do with him or how to respond. Oscar said that Jeffree didn't know about a bunch of the things that came out of Shane at that point, and he said that he was surprised to hear this since he thought Shane and Jeffree were pretty close. Some people were a bit suspicious. Why is this guy just coming out to diss Jeffree? Why didn't he come out earlier with this information since he's been spotted hanging out with Jeffree between all of these situations? Like, is he doing this for clout? But others thought that, we've heard how manipulative Jeffree is, and people around him can't even speak badly if they wanted to. So some thought that Oscar probably saw
like
this
that mind stuff. I'm like, yo, when it comes to YouTube and business and work and whatever, I'm not gonna say no manipulating things. Like, if it's something, my thing is I wait until the person notices something themselves. So if it is like, and I'm more so just talking about on my own experiences, like anybody that I've ever been cool with on YouTube or outside of YouTube or whatever, it's like they cannot say that I say some manipulating stuff to where they're on my side. My thing is like, if I know I'm out here doing wrong, I will admit that I'm doing wrong. I will tell people straight up, yes, I did wrong in this situation or whatever situation. But I'm not going to manipulate. I'm like, look, my thing is like, this person has built their mind up for the best. And the only person that needs to have control over your mind and your thoughts is yourself. So that's why I'm like, I just cannot be that person where I'm like, oh, you have to believe everything I say, or I have to say something in order for you to believe in me. So I'm like, nah, it's like, if you believe in me, you believe in me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not gonna hold it over your head. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna do none of that stuff. I'm like, look, if you believe in me, you believe in me. If you don't, you don't. I can live with it. So
opportunity to distance himself away from Jeffree. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, so let's now talk about Shane and Ryland for a second. Shane has been very quiet. He has not posted anything about Trisha, shown no support, no explanation, or anything to defend himself, which is kind of dumb since this could have just been his get out of jail card. He could have used this whole scandal to benefit his reputation and maybe improve it somehow by not supporting Jeffree anymore. But let's leave the conspiracy theories for later. Ryland, however, did talk about the Trisha situation in the newest episode of his podcast, The Sip. And oh my, the response he gave was not a good one at all. In fact, his co-host Lizzie took more accountability and gave a better apology to Trisha, and they're not even close / know each other for a long time like Shane and Ryland know Trisha, which only shows how fake everyone is towards each other here. Ryland basically said that they were not aware of the situation and he wished that Trisha had come to him and Shane privately so they could resolve this between them.
Wish she would.
Like, yeah, so it's like it doesn't. My thing is like, nah, if there's a public figure out there doing something, my thing is like, I have to come out and talk about this in order, like, just so in case, like, if anybody wants to, like, know something of this person, I'm like, all right, well, here's my video, here's my explanation for the whole situation. But yeah, it's like, I don't think that it's like, and it's in some situation where it's like with this, I'm like, yeah, it needs to be public, because I'm like, y'all wasn't privately trying to talk to me about whatever was on your mind. So my thing is, and I guess like if they were, and they like, well, it was just more so is that they were being disrespectful, and my, like, at that point I'm like, look, y'all being disrespectful, I ain't gonna be private about nothing. So yeah, I'm like, y'all was out here being disrespectful. What did you expect a girl to do? I'm saying, like,
come to me as a friend if she was hurting like the way that she is, and talked it out with me. And I wish that it wouldn't have played out on the internet like this. I just am really honestly confused.
But Trisha said that you guys
know he's just overwhelmed with like the response that it's getting. Like, you are right in the crossfire of just this like rain like fall of just everything that Trisha has just said about I guess him, Shane, and just this whole situation. So it's like, yeah, a lot of people are questioning him about it and stuff, and he just doesn't know how to respond to it. And that's why I'm like, that's why it's like I think sometimes like if you're gonna put yourself in a situation like this, it's like you have to understand what you're doing it on. You're doing it on it's an internet thing, so of course it's gonna be all across the internet. So it's like, what did you expect, bruh? Like,
wrong. So, what stopped you from saying anything about this situation? Even if you just heard about it now, you still haven't taken a position in this. What is going to be your action now? And Ryland can say that he personally didn't know, but now that you've talked about it on this episode, you're aware of the situation.
Yeah.
Also, Shane edits the podcast episode, so him leaving Ryland's response the way it was means that he agrees with it. Otherwise, if he has a different stand on the drama, he would have cut it out, or maybe they would have refilmed it or something. Ryland's quote-unquote apology, if you could even call it that, felt very passive-aggressive and disingenuous.
He's had drama with Jeffree and Hair by Jay, Hair by Jay obviously said horrific things that I don't stand by, I don't support. Obviously, I support Trisha over Hair by Jay. Like, I've never followed this man. I don't know this man. I've met him once in passing.
He said that he doesn't know who that Hair by Jay guy was and that he does not stand by what he said. But also Ryland was like, you didn't tell us, so what do you expect me to do?
I understand maybe it's hard for her to express her actual feelings towards Jeffree to us, or the gravity in which she's feeling feelings towards Jeffree when she knows we're specifically friendly with Jeffree. So maybe it's hard for her to like ask me to cut him off, but at the same time, I can't read someone's mind.
Also, it's kind of a bit hypocritical of Ryland to say he's not a mind reader. How could he have known how Trisha felt and all that when he and Lizzie talked about how he cut her off years ago because Lizzie was a friend to someone who wronged Ryland? The episode where they mentioned this is on Spotify, but it's not on their YouTube channel, by the way. Some people thought they deleted it, but I don't know. So Ryland must know how Trisha felt with all of the mean things that were said about her, and especially him and Shane not having her back and choosing Jeffree over her. People were really mad at the way Ryland handled this entire situation and obviously wanted to express their opinions in the comments. There were a lot of negative comments, but now both the comments of this and the previous episode are turned off, as well as the like to dislike ratio. The last episode included Jeffree, so that's just, the cherry on top. Trisha has come out to say that she completely does not support Shane, Ryland, or Jeffree. She's been posting a few TikToks throwing shade at them. She also posted a new video on her second channel and she exposed them on the Frenemies podcast last week. Trisha seems to have completely cut ties with both Shane and Ryland. In her video, she talks about how Shane...
People being shady, it's like, it's like, don't be cool with them if they're gonna be shady towards you, so...
...has talked about her back and badly about her for a few years. There was a situation where Peter Mon and Shane were talking and Trisha wanted to be there, but for some reason she couldn't. Peter mentioned that to Shane and Shane called Trisha a pathological liar and out of nowhere. Trisha also talked about how she was pushed aside when Shane started making a lot of videos with Andrew, Garrett, and Morgan, and that she's just realizing that now. She said that Garrett and Andrew are no longer friends with Shane, which was rumored a few months ago when they came out with their podcast Sweet Boys. And if you remember Garrett, he was allegedly hacked on Instagram and his captions on posts with Shane were changed to some shadier ones, so who knows what that was about. But anyway, Trisha also mentions that Shane also says a lot of things about people who she already disliked just to rile her up. For example, people like David Dobrik or James Charles. Apparently, he really went off on James in front of her, and while Shane was off of social media after her scandals last year, he still fed Trisha with bad things about James, that he's like this awful person and so on, so she would be talking about James publicly and dissing him, kind of, doing Shane's dirty work while he stays silent and is not getting involved in drama. And this sounds similar to what Tati said in her video, which is called Breaking My Silence, that both Shane and Jeffree would tell her things about James and she would believe it. Do you guys not see a pattern here? Not excusing Tati or Trisha for what they've said about James, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? Trisha talked about D'Angelo Wallace's video on Shane also. She said she finally watched all of it and was shocked about some of the things from Shane's past. Trisha said she was not aware of a lot of things. She said she knew about some of it, but not to the full extent, and that she added that she thought it was just some bad jokes, and now she's actually shocked and disgusted. So I guess she's done with Shane for good. James Charles also threw in some shade as well. He tweeted, "It's so liberating when people finally start to see what you've been seeing all along." He also liked a bunch of tweets that were about the situation, so this could be both for Shane and Jeffree. Really, both of them wronged him, so James is probably enjoying this. Gabriel Zamora also threw in a little subtweet, and Manny MUA liked it as well. Both of them had a falling out with Jeffree and also were part of the first drama get-in. So yeah, a lot of people...
I give it maybe a few years. Like once when I feel like more things come out, like it's Shane and Jeffree Star ain't gonna be like the face of like whatever part of the YouTube that they're on, but it's just gonna be one of those things where they're not going to be as big as they used to be. Like they had it going on, they had a good run, but now all these shady things is coming out about them, and nobody's not going to want to work with them. So I give it maybe a couple of years, few years. I don't know. Let's see what happens, but
had beef with Jeffree, and this just shows that he's definitely not a good friend. Like, if we count all the public falling outs he's had with people, we could be here like all day. Gabriel tweeted, "It's all fun and games until you become personally victimized by Regina George." A lot of people thought that this whole drama could have been Shane's comeback to the internet since he's been gone kind of for the past couple of months. A lot of talk has been happening lately on when he plans to return to social media, whether it would be with a docuseries on himself or his horror movie he talked about last year, or maybe some other project in the making. However, the speculations of him using this drama to improve his reputation haven't happened, at least not for now, and honestly, it doesn't seem like he wants to talk about it or take any accountability whatsoever, which at this point is only harming his image further, since Trisha seems to have cut off ties with him. Jeffree allegedly is just waiting for the right moment to drop him, and it's just so messy. And obviously Trisha loves to drag the drama to get the views, but who would have expected the things that are being said about Shane right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How do you feel about this? Do you think Shane is gonna come back after this? I don't know. That was it for today's video, you guys. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. I post new videos every single week. All right, bye.
I mean, he is, but it's just, it ain't gonna be the same. Like, it's not gonna be the same. It ain't gonna be a situation where everybody's all like, oh, can't wait for the next Shane Dawson documentary, the Shane Dawson, this Shane Dawson. There is, honestly, I see it as this. Like, Shane Dawson had his good run on YouTube. Jeffree Star had his good run on YouTube. Eventually, it's going to come to a point in time when these guys, like, I'm not going to say, like, their channel is just going to completely die off, but it's just going to be one of those things where they're just not going to get the same attention that they used to before. I personally think that it's, give it a few years, and yeah, these guys is just, I feel like then they're going to see how like slow YouTube has gotten for them, and who knows. I see it as this: the only thing that will keep these guys afloat is drama, is literally drama, exposing videos and all that other stuff. But it's gonna have to be a situation where they're like, somebody's calling them out, but it's like they're not going to be able to call out anybody. I feel like that has been officially canceled. Like they can no longer call out anybody on nothing. But yeah, it's just, that's going to honestly be the only thing that gives these guys attention, is somebody comes out and calls them out on something. Eventually that's going to die off, and then nobody's not going to be interested in that. And I think that's when it's like, then a few years done pass by, and yeah, there's like gonna be other people on, like, taking their spots on YouTube, in their territory, and then yeah, they're just overall just gonna have to deal with it. I feel like they're still gonna be making bank and still be doing stuff with YouTube, but it's just not gonna be the same. So anyways, that was a pretty good excuse me, it's a pretty good video. Shout out to Hot Tea. Make sure, if you guys haven't, subscribe to her main channel, of course, this channel, her second channel, Ray Rahimi, and her business channel, Build Your Pocket. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.